So I'm driving to the refugee camp. It's a 4 or 5 hours drive from Damascus. A long, empty road into nowhere. Suddenly on the right side, a lot of tents and a lot of desert. As we arrive, the kids, they spot us, and they're screaming and running towards us. Bitna capoeira, which means in Arabic, we want capoeira. They're helping us to unload the instruments because plenty of babies and having tea with the mummies and the puppies. The refugee camp was between the Syrian and Iraqi borders in the no man's land. I'm a sport teacher running capoeira classes. Capoeira is live music, it's sport, it's play. It was born out of slavery. There are no winners and there are no losers. And the kids, they love it. And they came. On this day, there was a girl, Salma was her name. She was around 8 years old, and her mom had told me that she hasn't said a word for over a year. She used to sit silently on the edge of the group, watching. But slowly she came closer to sit with the other kids, and today was the day she started singing. Music, play are so powerful. They're helping us to release our anger and frustration in a healthy way. If you give those kids an instrument, next week they play better than you. And UNICEF saw that. They and plenty of other organizations saw the hope our projects brought to these kids. And they wanted to work with us. I thought it was such a big deal, all those organizations. We did so many things in so many countries. But this is not the story I'm going to tell you today, because I had a problem. Suddenly, I had to spend a lot of time in front of the computer, filling out log frames, paperwork, inputs, outputs, indicators, percentage, reach, breakdowns, and so on. It appeared to me the development sector didn't trust me anymore. And to make sure I was doing a good job, I had to do all those paperwork. Man, I was tied up in that red tape. Every time I went to this refugee camp, I bought a thick, big blanket with me because it was freezing in the desert night. I never complained, I never minded at all, but the computer sucked my energy. The development sector wanted to work with the guy on the left, and I was the guy on the right. This was only part of my problem. If you were a CEO of a huge multinational corporation and you want to make a donation, who would you trust? This guy or that guy? And if you're a kid in a refugee camp, maybe like Salma, who would she trust? Both of the guys want to help, but there's a hell of a lot of red tape disconnecting everybody. Only 20 cents of 100 euros translate into this. 0.2%. This is of how humanitarian aid towards NGO makes it, the small dot, to local NGOs on the ground, the ones who stay after the plane is off towards the next crisis. This can't fly. But why, given there's so much goodwill on this plane? Who sits in the control tower? Who decides which development agenda, which crisis, what issue is sexy? Who gives us most of the money and also tells the plane how money must be spent? Currently, it is easier to give 100 million to one large organization than 10,000 to 10,000. In the business world, we call this a cartel, and it's illegal. In the development world, every organization competes with each other for money, for visibility, for employee salaries. The small organizations, they never stood a chance. The ones who are benefiting are the middlemen, the bureaucrats, and more red tape. I started working in Syria a long time before the war started, and March 2011 changed everything for me. There are 3 checkpoints now, and a 20 minutes ride from my house has turned into a 2 hours journey to the women's safe house, one of the other projects we're working on. They see me and buzz me in. The corridor is now full of mattresses. The safe house has turned into a shelter for women and children from all over Syria. I'm at my Apple Mac writing my report to get support for the project, and there's a knocking on my door. Bum, 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 bum. The Syrian secret police. 2 men, black sunglasses, amazing mustaches. I was interrogated in a small room, a bottomless cup of sugary tea for me, and questions about my brothel. How many prostitutes did you pimp out from your house in Damascus? my house being my office, the brothel being the sports charity. I don't have time for this. And on top of this, I have to write my reports. Where should I write about the police and the checkpoints? And no, I can't take pictures. No, I can't get receipts. And no, I can't get the age breakdowns. But I need all of this in order to get support. The system is in our way. And everyone is so tired of the system, so tangled up into red tape. I've now gone beyond being an air stewardess. What I'm doing now is looking after air stewardesses. When I finally had to flee Syria because of the war, I had to try to find ways how to keep helping, and we can. We live in a world which is both global and local. Technology has made it possible for us to connect to the guy on the right. We can follow him on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, whatever they use, and cut that red tape. We have fancy apps. We can send money everywhere. We can collect real-time data, even in the remotest areas. It's GPS then, works on offline. Basically, you only need a smartphone. Let's not put good people behind computers. We need them spending their time doing good. And there are phones in refugee camps. And if there's no connectivity, let's put a mobile tower and not a control tower. The most important thing is to create real relationships, shaking hands, instead of creating more paperwork. Currently, we spend more time managing the money than finding solutions. We have to drink lots of tea, making friends with the local people. They will tell us what they need, what they want, and then we help them with our networks and our skills. But they have to own the project, and not our brands. Thank you for listening. I would love to get you on the plane, your thoughts, your support. Thank you.